Good.
What are you having to eat? What are you having to eat?
Not good cereal. But I'll eat something.
I didn't even know there's the cereal.
I'll eat something else later. Just because I try and switch it up for the camera
For
every
the
day.
camera. You do it daily.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Kiss Capades podcast. Today I have a special guest with me. I'll let him introduce himself.
The specialist guest, please.
Yeah. We linked up like a few 2-3 years ago,
Yeah.
but we never got to push whatever we were planning to. We
Yeah.
had a conversation. We did a few things here and there,
Yeah.
but they didn't manifest
Yeah.
to like a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just let him introduce himself before we talk about that. Yeah. So tell the people your name and what you do.
All right. Wow.
This look good.
This is how you do an intro with pancakes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. My name is Kagwe Mungai. I am an artist, singer, songwriter, producer, rapper, entertainer all around. Jet setter. From Nairobi, Kenya, making music for the world.
You haven't thrown in model?
I'm not a model.
So you're doing some shit in
I'm-
Dubai, bro.
Yes, it's jet setting, bro.
Hey, okay. You're not even acknowledging it,
I'm
but
not-
it's like,
I'm not a model, though.
it's just a by the way.
Yeah, sometimes I walk on runways. I'm not a model though.
Good stuff, bro. So, I've known you for quite a while, and I've seen like your growth, and it's super progressive every single year. And anybody who's known you from like maybe let's say 4 years ago, they'll definitely see like those hits keep coming,
Yeah.
and you haven't been like those people who are like industry driven. Like you have your own sound, you have your own feel, you have like kind of like your own look as well. Would you say it's been a hard journey, or like this is just what you wake up in the morning and do and everything like just fell into place?
To be honest, I'll say it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. It's definitely been difficult. Yeah.
It has been?
It has definitely been difficult. The challenges I've faced in this industry I have never experienced in my entire life. Like wow. There are some things I've really gone through, but also at the same time I've also been extremely fortunate.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just one of those like right place, right time kind of things. But there was a lot of things that were. I'll give you an example of how difficult it was, and then how like by chance things also started working out. Right? So there was a point, maybe like I want to say around 2012, 2013. I was still very new into the game, about 2 years into the game, and I wasn't seeing returns.
Yeah.
I'm booking studio time, I'm doing rehearsals, I'm trying to find shows, I'm not getting shows, I'm putting out songs, they're not getting views or plays, or like it's not translating. Yeah. Meanwhile, bills are piling up,
Of course.
Maisha must happen,
Yeah.
So I realized at some point, I told myself, I was like, you know what, fine, it's time to find a 9 to 5. We just do this and then scomilia as this thing works. Yeah. So because I had a university education, I found it was still difficult to find a job, but I found a job. So I got a job at an advertising agency in Westlands.
Oh wow.
So I get this job. I'm excited. It's like a decent paycheck. And I go for my first day. So I sit down like this. I'm in front of the boss. He's told me it's now maybe like 8 a.m. He's now explained to me what my job is. You're going to be doing this. You're going to be handling this account and this and this and this. And then in my head, I'm hearing, you can't be here. get out. You can't be here. You should not be here.
First day.
Get out. And like, I can't hear what this man is saying at this point. He's talking to me. I'm just hearing this thing. It's loud in my head.
Yeah.
So I interrupt him and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I need to resign.
What? First day.
The guy's like, you haven't even been here an hour. What? He asked me, like, did someone tell you something? Like, like, were you threatened? Like, what's the problem? You know?
What's going on? Yeah.
So I told him, I can't explain it, but I can't be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I know it sounds crazy, but I have to resign. So the guy said, I mean, Sawa, we don't owe you any money. So good luck, you know?
Yeah.
And I got out. I remember I was in the lift going down now. And I panicked. At that point, I was like, what the hell did I just do?
Yeah.
I've just thrown away my only source of income for something I'm hearing in my head, you know? Like, how stupid is that? And like, I needed the money. I was in debt, you know, like things were thick. So I remember I got into a job and out of nowhere, it was like one of those movies where you enter, you sit down, and then like you just hear, and next song coming up is by Kagwe, Mungai, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I was like...
And it was your song?
It was my song. And my song's not being played at the time, So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Sawa, I'll listen. I can hear something is telling me to like calm down.
Yeah.
And I reached home and I remember I got a phone call from Buddha Blaze, who was involved with Coke Studio at the time. He's like, my guy, there's a huge check here and an amazing opportunity if you're interested.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Wow, you know? So like, I was struggling, you know? I was really struggling, but that opportunity came.
Right time and everything.
Right time, right place. And it's, I always say, it's what's that saying about luck favors the prepared?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know.
Fortune favors.
Fortune favors.
Yes. So that's been my philosophy, you know. Put in the work and then look for the opportunities, and sometimes the opportunities will find you before you find them.
True.
Yeah.
But now when you're doing all these things, because, you know, I'm always asking people, like, you know, their backstory and everything. Like when you're in school, what before you just thought about like music, because, you know, like when you're a kid, you're like, you have all these idols that you look up to, and then you're thinking like, hey, those levels, I don't think I can get there. What were you thinking you'll be in future?
Wow.
Were you sure like you're going to get into music, or that was just like something just at the back of your head, like you're saying?
I mean, I always felt like I was drawn to entertainment. From acting in high school and just doing like being in bands from when I was in primary school. So the entertainment aspect has always been something that I've loved. Even when I was, when we were kids, every Christmas we would go with my cousins, we put on like skits for the famo, and we all perform, and everybody has a role, and there's a director. Like it was a proper production, you know, in Shags. So I've always known that, but I didn't always know it was going to be music. I think when I was in high school, I got a really, really good music teacher that was able to teach me music in a way that I never thought I could understand. Because I didn't like music. You know, like when, I don't know if you did music back in the day in school.
I hated it.
Yeah, it was boring.
I remember like those scales and then G clef,
the notes and the clefs. It was boring, and then you're listening to all this old classic music that like. So now this teacher would teach us with like Pharrell. Yeah, he plays like a Timbaland song. He's like, you see,
attention.
Like this. This is what now harmony is. When you put 2 voices and 3 voices like that, you see how he's singing 3 voices. That's called harmony. And I'm like, oh. Okay, kumbe this thing applies to everything. You know, and so like I learned classical music through pop music, you know.
And it's all about the teachers.
Exactly.
Though. Yeah.
So that after having that impact with that teacher, then I was like, I actually want to do this for the rest of my life, you know. And that was the point where now things changed.
Oh, this guy really wants his place clean. And perfect timing.
He's really come to sit here.
So, talking about that, how about like just like your parents? I can tell that you have a close relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
And how, because at times, as much as parents are always like, yeah, are you sure you're doing the right thing? Has your mom always been like that, super supportive, even though like you're taking this path where there's no blueprint, you're not sure whether this is the path that I should take?
Yeah.
Was she always like supportive? Ama she was like, hey Maze bro, you need to get like a plan B or something? Was she always supportive?
Yeah, I think she was supportive in as much as an African mother could have been supportive,
Yeah.
And I think she always had my back in terms of when I told her I wanted to study music, she wasn't surprised, she told me I used to sing myself to sleep. So she was like, from a very young age, she always knew this thing was in there somewhere, know.
Yeah.
But again, being a parent and wanting the best for your child, you understand that you haven't seen much success of that in your life in Kenya.
Yeah.
So the prudent thing, the safe thing to do is to ensure there's a backup plan. So I was told, cool, you can study music, just make sure you do another degree at the same time. So by the time you're coming back from
At
university,
least,
you have 2 degrees. So that was a challenge on me to now make that happen.
Step your game up, prove it.
Exactly. If
you want it as much as you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want it, balance it, make it work. But just make sure you come back with both of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to just production-wise, oh my God, what is this guy doing? When it comes to production, when it comes to production, how did you just, what kind of softwares, or where did the whole producing thing come in?
Okay. So in high school, we remember when 8 Mile came out, and everybody in school wanted to be a rapper. Everyone had like their rhyme books, and like that was the vibe, right? So me, I was out here trying to be the next Eminem, and so we would go in school, and lunchtime we're having like rap battles and like break time and those things. So I started taking it a bit more seriously than I guess the rest of my friends and my classmates. So at some point, I was like, I want to start recording, And I remember going to like different studios or asking like different producers, and there were not very many at the time, but asking different guys, and it was either too expensive or I didn't like how it sounded, So I decided I'm just going to figure out how to do this thing on my own and do it. So my bro brought for me one of those pirated copies of this software called Hip Hop EJ.
I don't know it.
I think nobody knows it.
Yeah, my friends were using, I think, Fruity Loops or something.
That was even before Fruity Loops.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I jumped on Fruity Loops later. But Hip Hop EJ, it was this like random 90s technology that was, even then it was whack, but like I was making beats.
But it was still like giving you the sound that you're actually
Exactly.
feeling like this is now actually music that I like.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was making these beats, and I would go and show my friends in school. Guys would be like, wow, these beats are fire. Let's like, can I rap on this beat? I'm like, yeah, cool. So I started like selling beats in high school. I used to sell to my classmates things. Wait. Used to
How much would a beat?
songs.
Wait, how much would a beat cost though?
Like a sock. But like those days you're doing
doing
a lot with that, like.
Plus, I'm guessing like in the morning you have like 10 beats already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was really easy to do because like the software was so simple. It wasn't actually very complicated. You didn't actually even need that much musical knowledge. It was just like you put loops together. And so now that started becoming the thing. So now production. And then I got into like the Fruity Loops and the Logics and all these other softwares. And by the time now, when I was in uni, I was now producing all the time to the point where I was actually, when I was in first year, I was tutoring the third years on production.
Okay.
Because it was something I'd been doing for so long.
Yeah.
These guys were now learning things I was learning when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I was actually tutoring them, making a bit of extra money. They would then let me use the studio because first years weren't allowed to use the studio. So they would sneak me into the studio. I go there, I work the whole night.
We need this guy here.
Yeah. But now it got to the point now I had a bunch of beats, and no vocals on them. It was just instrumental music, and they were still largely, people were not consuming instrumental music like that, you know. Like they say, oh, it's nice, I can listen to it as I'm working maybe, or as I'm working out, but like you're not going to hear it on radio, you know. So I started looking for people to sing, and then I found the same problem. They were either too expensive or I didn't like how they sounded.
They just don't sound good.
Yeah.
They don't sound good.
So I was like, okay, I guess I have to sing myself.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started singing on my tracks, and then that's how I became an artist, essentially.
But were you hesitant? Because I'm thinking, like, you know, if you've always been too, like, analyzing people like too much, or being like a critic of like, hey, this guy doesn't sound good. Were you hesitant on like people listening to you like actually sing or in your song for the first time? Or even just yourself, did you find it like funny or weird? Or you're like, this is...
Yeah, you know, the thing is, I think the people that you ask around me, I think I like to think of myself as a perfectionist. Some other people think that it's too much. it's not healthy.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always, and it's little things that nobody will hear or nobody will notice that will like really, really just tick me off the most.
Like that snare has to be perfect.
It's just
that
like
drum has to be.
There's something there, and I'm trying to explain to somebody, you can't hear that.
They can't though. They
And
can't.
like,
You know
no,
that they can't.
No. And I've had so many conversations with people at my label about these kind of things. I'm like, this thing is not mixed properly. Listen, you listen, and they're like, bro, we don't know what you're talking about. It's just you who is hearing it. So I told myself I would rather give myself that pressure, because I can hear it, so I can try and better perform myself, you know. Whereas if I'm telling you, you're not hitting it, and you believe you're hitting it. So now we're just here having a conversation or an argument about the same thing. We're just going around in circles. So I thought I might as well put that pressure on myself than anybody else. So I found it easier to do it myself, you know. Then I'm the one who has made the beat, I'm the one who is writing the songs, and I'm the one who is recording.
Ownership, man. Everything is you.
Exactly.
If you think about it.
Yeah, I no longer have to wait for people and their availability. I don't have to wait for people and their invoices and their ninis, whatever. So I'm the whole production team.
It's the same thing, like, and I know and I understand that. That's why, like, even anybody who knows me, it's like I do most of the stuff like alone.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can't start blaming people for not coming through for you.
Exactly.
When you can actually do everything yourself.
Kabisa.
So why not just do it and do it to the best way that you know?
And you've done that a lot as well, like with the way your career has progressed.
I appreciate that, bro. We're trying. It's not easy. It's not easy in Kenya.
Succeeding.
It's not easy in Kenya. So speaking of just like music, before we get to like your album, what has been like your hardest bit, like just in like just the Kenyan music industry, because of things like formalities? Because yes, like, you know, we hear all this whole thing about like, you know, royalties. People are claiming royalties from is it MCSK? Yeah. And people are like, yo, as much as people are paying for the licenses and everything, like artists are not, it's almost like artists are not getting like
their fair dues,
compensation. So I mean, has it been like something that, because at this point I think how I see it, I see Kagwe comfortable. I see Kagwe comfortable, but we have to understand, like, I brought an artist here and we started talking about music, and I was just depressed after the conversation. I was just like, what do you mean? I thought you were, but what kind of challenges? Because anybody who's listening to the podcast and they know and see you like on TV, what kind of obstacles do you think like you faced that are major, like even for somebody who's coming in the music industry should be aware of?
I think the copyright issues, and still today, are still not very strongly understood. I think even by the people who are supposed to be taking care of your copyright issues. So if you don't understand and they don't understand, then they're just loopholes for you to lose money. True. You know, like constantly you'll be in a position where you do not have all the information, and when you don't have all the information, then you're at risk. For me, I've been one because I think I had the information and I had the education. One of the things that I did very early was when I came back, I went to see, there was
Came back from where?
when I came back from university.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
in the UK. I went to see.
Oh wait, you're in uni in UK?
I was in UK.
How long?
Yeah, it was 4 years.
Okay, we'll get. Okay,
come back to that.
That's for another podcast.
That's
a whole different.
That's a whole
podcast.
other thing.
But were you doing music there? Were you almost
That's what I was doing. I mean, I was performing. I was doing shows. I was.
in UK?
Yeah, I was hustling there. That's where it began. Before it began here. Yeah.
And that explains the self-drive, because I mean that self-drive is not there in like a typical Kenyan.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
It's rare. It's rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 4 years in uni.
4
okay,
years.
we'll go back to that
Yeah.
like somewhere in the podcast. Don't worry. Yeah. So you're talking about the
Yeah.
copyright
exactly.
and everything.
So I came back. There's this lady. She's a singer and also a lawyer, June Kashui. So I went and we had a conversation about just intellectual property, what it means, and the way it works in Kenya, and the way the registration. And honestly, the thing that I found was that it was still very frustrating to even register your music. You know, I remember going to the MCSK offices maybe like 6 different occasions, because you go there, you've gone to you look at the forms online. They say come with this. It's just a Gava office. They say come with this. You collect those things, you take them there. They're like, hii haujaleta, go back. Yeah. So I'm like, see, I just go and like come back now. They're like, no, sasa kuja next week. And you're like, okay, fine. You come back next week. There's another issue, and then there was these things that they used to do, which I found quite interesting. And this is 2000 and maybe 14 there. You know how they would check if your music is authentic? There was a table of CD players, yeah, and like 5 guys just all sitting like this. They were sitting here. Then they listen to the songs, yeah, and these guys are maybe like in their 30s, maybe late 40s, yeah.
That's crazy.
And if they like the song, then they put it up.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah, it was based on preference.
If they like your track.
If they like the song, yeah. So if I'm making music you're not interested in,
you're not making it, bro.
my music it doesn't get copyrighted. Can you believe it?
And wait, for these people, do they look like they had like
No.
music background? You know, maybe you can go in a room and then you see like some music swag. This guy looks like a
Nothing.
producer.
Zero.
Like those old guys who are like,
It's old guys, oversized suits, you know, like old guys. Yeah, it wasn't making sense. I remember because I was watching them. I remember they were just taking out CDs like this. They listen as they're listening, as they're talking, having conversations. Kina nani walisema? Lakini hiyo lunch umetuma nani? Yeah, they take the CD, they tupa it. That one it doesn't work. This one they put in the nice pile.
see, that's insane, bro. That's insane.
And those are the things that I think were contributing to just the steps back we were taking in like the entertainment industry in Kenya.
Yeah.
You know. But I think in the recent past now, things are getting better. There was a song that Jazz Odongo and I produced on Karun's album that was featured on a show on Fox.
Hey, bro.
And that song, we did it in 2012. They featured the song sometime last year.
And that's when you were never given like maybe that stamp of approval by...
Exactly. But to see how quickly that thing works, yeah?
Yeah.
Like to see even the way that industry works, and it's a completely different space. Here, if a TV show uses your song, you have to now go and follow up with them. You know, what about the royalties? Blah 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 blah. But in America, they actually look for the producers. They look for the artists. They're like, okay, we have money for you.
Guys. They communicate.
Yeah, they're like, guys, we want to give you money.
Okay,
yeah, just let us know where to send the money. Tell us. I was like, okay, sawa. This thing works, you know?
Yeah.
It's real.
And the thing is, a lot of even like just local artists don't understand or don't have the information that there is a possibility of making like revenue in so many ways, apart from just, you know, keep crying about MCSK.
Yeah.
There's so many other ways you
So
can actually
many.
make money. And I think now with just like the new wave. Okay, first of all, what do you think? In fact, before I even jump into that, what do you think of the new wave of music right now in Kenya? Let's not go to other countries.
Yeah.
Other countries are super aggressive. What do you think?
I think,
And I think you know the kind of music I'm talking about. Yeah.
So, I'll be very honest. Initially, I didn't understand it. Yeah, and when you don't understand something, you're usually very opposed to it.
Yeah.
But these days, Kina Ethic, way. I love those guys.
Okay.
I think that music is amazing. It's not your traditional good music, yeah. But I think it's the culture, you know. It's definitely the culture, and the culture is that these guys are they're a representation of the culture. This is the reason why it's popular. The reason why there are so many of these guys coming out making music like that is because that's the culture now, you know. Times change, and when times change, art changes with it, music changes with it. All these things have to change, you know. That's what growth is, you know. And I always compare, when I think about it, I always think about it like trap, you know. Trap music. When trap music was coming out, or was becoming popularized, people are like, this is not hip hop. This is not hip hop. We can't respect trap. How can look at who is this young thug guy? Look at all these guys with tattoos on their faces. They are so useless.
Yeah.
You cannot ignore them now. You know what I mean? They can't
Yeah.
be ignored, and I think that's what's going to happen with our industry here. You know, I don't know what that genre of music is called. I don't know if it has a name. I can't define it myself right now. But it's like, a new genge. You know, like. And at the time, even when Genge came out, there was still like a lot of opposition. Like, what are these guys talking about?
But like, for me, to be honest, I still don't understand it.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. I'm just like, I still don't just get, because how
It's
I'm
your
thinking.
age. Your age is showing.
It's not even that, by the way, because I really know a lot about music. I used to do like mixtapes and stuff and everything. I used to be like really deep into music.
Dope.
But here's the thing. When it comes towards the end of the year, we normally have, and just keep this in mind, at the end of the year, we'll have Kagwe Mungai. You know, you'll post something like on your Instagram, like, hey guys, I've been nominated for something, East African Act or Best African Act when it comes to this category. Let's not forget, we have Nigerians right now who are like not playing at all.
Yep.
Do you think with the new generation we'd get to any nominations when it comes to, or what are the chances of us, like, you know?
Absolutely. I don't know. I don't know if it's this year. But I know for sure. I think it's
and this is not, trust me, this is not coming from a bad
I
place.
understand.
Because I can, like,
I understand.
There's all these new guys, Kina Rivani, like, see, they're almost like the same, probably kind of newish, but it's just like the new wave. If we're talking about like the new wave of all these other different artists,
I think so. Absolutely. I think it's these things are a matter of time. You know, one of our most successful East African acts is called Diamond Platnumz.
Oh yeah.
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 Just think about that for a second.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that guy is known around the world, around the continent, and is a bona fide artist in his own right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like at this point, pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah.
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 He's been able to build an empire for himself with the Wasafi. He's got a bunch of artists that he's developing under him.
Yeah.
Has media houses that he's developing. You know what I mean? Like he's been smart about it. Yeah. And for that reason, Diamond Platnumz has been able to affect and change the culture of the way African music sounds and is consumed around the world. When you talk about African music history, you will talk about Diamond Platnumz.
He has to be there.
He has to be there, you know. And I think that's the same moving forward, you know.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
You see, at the end of the year, if we're selecting like our best artists in the country, we have the new wave right now,
Yeah.
the new kids on the block in
Mhm.
Kenya. We have the new kids in Tanzania.
Mm-hmm.
We have the new kids in Nigeria,
Yeah.
Ghana.
Yeah.
Bro, let's not even get to South Africa. It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
But we have to understand, like, we are all like artists.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the year, if we are nominating, like, our best
Mm-hmm.
to be chosen in that category, like, what are the chances of like our new artists being noticed? We have like Akina Casp, what's his name? Nasty C.
Yeah.
Isn't he almost like the same age of like the guys of?
Yeah, and STC is 21.
Yeah, he's the same age with like
Yeah.
the Kina. So I'm just saying, if you're given a category, we have Kina Ethic, we have like all the other groups like who've come under them.
Mm-hmm.
We have Nasty C. We have, who can we pick like in Nigeria, Ghana? The people are like super young. East, West Africa.
Out of Nigeria.
Yeah. Like the countries who are like doing like the Afro.
Yeah, there's a guy in Ghana called King Promise.
Mhm.
That's really like doing
Dope, yeah. Because I know you've
amazing
done some
things.
music there, right?
Yeah. Nigeria, every day there's a new star in
Yeah,
Nigeria.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like from that category, if, like you have all these people, like
Yeah.
what are the chances? And I'm not saying it in a bad way. What are
Yeah.
the chances of our artists, like people like respecting like their? It's a new wave. I haven't
think-
said no, but
I think the chances are very high.
no way, Kagwe, you're lying.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. The music is like 5% of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I know a lot of people that can make good music.
Mm-hmm.
They are not recognized for those efforts. You know,
Of course, because of this new wave.
not because of the new wave. It's because in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
they are not thinking about it 360.
And
Right?
like even for you, good music though.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but like the thing is, it's not enough to just have good music. It's not
Oh,
enough to
okay,
just
okay,
have good
yeah,
content.
okay,
you know,
okay, true.
you have
true, I get you.
the reason why those people get nominated. There are certain steps that they take to ensure
Mm-hmm.
that they are on that ballot.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
guys are voting for best African act of the year. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a mistake. It's not by chance because their music is just fire. And like, and sometimes, once in a while, that happens to be the case where it's somebody does a song in their laptop at home,
And it just happens to be
a song like Taka Taka, you know,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
it just blows up.
Yeah, yeah.
It goes,
Yeah.
right?
True.
But that's not the norm. That's not what normally happens.
Yeah.
And I think once people start to understand that there's more business than there is,
The team behind you.
yeah, you know, it's like you really have to think about this thing 10 steps ahead. What is this thing going to do? Where is it going to go? How do I make sure it goes? If that's the kind of thinking that we have,
Yeah.
then our music will cross over everywhere, and we will be able to stand properly against the Rayvannis and against the Diamonds and against the Nasty C's.
Yeah, those guys are not playing.
They are not, because
Casper?
you know why? Because they are making the moves. Their music is good.
Yeah. Oh, but now the
It's
business side as
the
well.
moves. That's what is the difference between, say, for example, the guys that would be coming up now and like a Nasty C.
Yeah.
Right? It's the strategy behind what they're doing right now.
Yeah. And I think now that's where we bring in things like what we're talking about now here is management. And I
Yeah.
think you crossed to that category, if I'm not wrong. The last time we were having a conversation, I think you were moving a lot independently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were independently. What made you decide to know? You're now managed by
Taurus Music.
Taurus Music,
Mhm.
yeah. So what made you make that move, and how easy is it like to maneuver with them? Because I noticed like even after we booked the podcast session,
Yeah.
like there's somebody who called me like following up on the conversation we had with. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, this guy actually takes his shit serious.
Yeah.
Today in the morning he called,
Yeah.
and like I respect that because like even a lot of people, man, even to explain to artists like what a podcast is, it's
Yeah.
already like a headache for me. But
Yeah.
you see, we had like a two minute conversation. You had your team behind it. Like, they followed up and made sure like everything
happens,
like just was in track. So how has management like just made things different?
I think for me
In
the greatest thing that like a team provides, for me, a team. The thing about a team is that you play to your strengths. Yeah. But you play to your strengths after you have.
a real beard, bro?
It is a real beard. Wow.
Okay.
Goals, bro. Goals. For you guys who can't see, his
like Santa, bro.
beard is like here, starting here, and then it's white. I can't wait for my beard to grow like that, guys.
So yeah.
Well, anyway.
But yeah.
So
management and
Yeah.
How different is it just moving with them?
so for me, for the first maybe 4 years of my career, I was, and for which is the case for most people, for most of their careers actually in Kenya, you are the artist, you are the songwriter, you are maybe the producer, you are the publicist, you are the lawyer,
Manager.
you are the manager, you are the tour, you're everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very important step in life. I call that stage the internship stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of anything, even you've been through it,
Man.
right?
Yeah.
And I call it the internship stage because as an intern, your job is to learn everything about the business and figure out where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. And for me, I realized my weaknesses are in management, right? And so once I can have a team that is able to strengthen my weaknesses, then my strengths then are allowed to flourish. So my strengths are creating the actual music, performing the music.
Focus on your strongest points.
Exactly. The creative side, then that becomes now my day-to-day mandate. So I'm no longer worrying about contracts. I'm no longer worrying about negotiations. I'm no longer worrying about where's my music being played, because there's an entire team
people who follow up on
who
that.
are dedicated to doing that, that are professionals in their own right, that have experience, that are networking all the time. And that gives me the space to be able to just sit down for a year and make an album, which is a very, very, very fortunate thing. I know a lot of people don't have access to that.
But it's not easy.
But this thing, I realized as much as it's important to take ownership and do things on your own where you can't find other people. To go the real distance, I think you can't do it by yourself. The real distance, you can't do it by yourself. I mean, you look at this Homecoming, Beyonce. Yeah.
Yep.
The number of people involved.
It's crazy.
For a show, one show.
Yep.
One show, the number of people involved. And those were, I mean, the ones you see on TV, yeah? And then there's people behind the scenes who you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Like the number of people that were employed for that 1.5, 2 hour thing to be made was so many, and it took months of work.
Planning.
Yeah.
Everything.
And coordination, and everybody just being like a well-oiled machine, you know? And I think that's the importance of having a team. That's the importance of having a team with you. That to really go the distance, you need to be many of you who are good at everything that you do. You know, I'm not calling you to come and produce for me beats. You know, You know, that's not your strength. You know, so you leverage people's strengths, and everybody's your what's that thing, your weakest. The thing, you know, the one I'm talking about.
I don't. I'm waiting for you to tell me.
Your weakest link is your strongest weakness, strength. Something like that. You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
Hey. English Ningomo.
And you see, I think a lot of artists, that's where the frustration comes in. When you're trying to book these interviews, you're trying to look for endorsements, you're trying to get the perfect amount to be paid. You're looking for shows and everything. But I'm just guessing, like, once you have that, everything just starts falling into place and it just starts making sense. It's not easy.
No.
But are the management companies in Kenya, are they a lot?
Nope. And if
I actually just think Taurus has been there like that's consistently, and
Yeah.
I think it's one of the
There's a lot of people who will call themselves managers, or management,
yeah.
but it's not. There's a lot of things that they are missing, so it's there's not enough of it, basically.
Yeah.
I think there's not enough of it. Get off my pancakes. So I honestly, this is the thing that I keep on advising people.
Should people get signed or
not even get signed? I mean, like, work like if you're somewhere with your boys, and you have that particular dream for like making music or making content or whatever it is, and your boy doesn't necessarily have the dream for making music or making content, but this guy understands numbers like you can't believe.
He's good at something.
Work with your boy on this thing, ensure that interest, that gift is translates into income. Because especially if you're winning with your homies from day one,
man,
that is the sweetest success. To just have the guys that you have started with from day one riding with you until.
Do you have them with you?
I have.
Mine is not the case.
I don't, not necessarily. So I think for me, my day ones are like my cousins. So I'm very close to my cousins.
Yeah.
And those are the guys that have been there from the very, very start. Like when we used to go around to clubs, and they would pretend to ask the DJ, "Do you have that song by
do those anonymous requests?"
And we're there with him like this. I'm like, that guy is called Kagwe or something like that. Yeah, he has a song called Siju Chips Funga or something like that. So you have it. Obviously, the DJ doesn't have it. I just made the song last night. The guy's like, "Zizi, I don't have it." I was like, I think Nani has it in the car in a flash.
Oh, and then you
go and then you put it there. You plug it. We dance. We get lit. No guys in the club are like, "Ay, which jam is this? Whose song is this?" Ama we'd go to shows. And I remember you'd see like the whole front row of the show is would be like girls just like screaming. Nobody knows those girls were my cousins. But now people are looking, they're like, we Kagwe anapendwa na madem.
Well played.
All those girls are my cousins and my cousins' friends, So it was those are my day ones. Those are the people that really, really ride for me and still today ride for me.
And that's interesting. It's interesting that you've brought that up, because it's not easy. Like, even for me, the way you're saying it, I had a lot of people maybe around me, but now as I started being like aggressive with what I'm trying to pursue, not everybody can share that journey with you if they don't have that eye or the same vision as you. So no matter how much you'd force your homies, like, "Yo, let's go and shoot this and this." Like, man, come on, man. I'm holding this camera for like 1 hour.
Yeah.
Why? Why? I could be drinking, man. I could be doing this and that. So like, even for me, like, I had to fall out with a lot of my friends because they didn't understand, like, and that's why, like, most of the time I'm, of course, definitely like a one-man show, but for growth, definitely a team is very necessary. But would you say it's since we're talking about this, would you say, is it hard for like mainstream Kenyans to work together? It's like something that I've noticed, it's a bit tricky, because why doesn't Kagwe have like a song with a particular rapper that I know who's really, really good, and he has the wave, and you also have like your wave? Why isn't Kagwe doing music with him to push ourselves to the, how Tanzanians are doing it, how South Africans are doing it and everything?
I think that for me, if you ask me, is our biggest weakness in our entertainment scene here. We're not. It's because everybody still feels like they're grinding on day one. You know what I mean? So, as much success as I've had, I still feel like I have so much further to go, and because of that, there's less of a inclination to pull up the next guy, right? It's like what's that thing that crabs in a barrel? So there's
Bro, you should have to stop dropping these things on me like yo. I'm like yo.
okay. So let me explain crabs in a barrel. So you put crabs in a barrel, yeah, like in a bucket,
Yeah.
and they'll try to climb out of the bucket, but as they're climbing, they're pulling each other down.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah?
I got you.
So that's the kind of mentality that I think we have here, where it's like, I'm trying to succeed, but if I must pull you down for me to go up, you know, or even ignore you so that me I can continue to go up, that's what I'm going to do. And then as I'm going up, somebody else will pull me down because they want to try and get up. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the one thing that we're having a problem with as Kenyans.
Yeah.
It's nothing else. It's just that one thing. Because if you look around, like even like in the States, man, like you have people who hate each other. Come on, did you see like how Cardi B and Nicki Minaj were on the same track?
Yeah.
These people hate each other. Proper. But like their management was like, yo guys, listen, we need to make this shit work. You're good at this, you're good at this. They actually, even if it's tricking or maneuvering in a different, and they were both in a music video and they don't like each other.
Yeah.
Putting your differences aside and making things work. I think
Making
that's
money.
just making money. Because it's just, I think that's just the one thing that's pulling us behind. And even with a lot of people that I've brought in the podcast, they were like, yo, how comes when I just leave the country, I go somewhere else, I'm so appreciated in a very different way. Okay, like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
Like, I remember my first time going to like even SA, and I was shooting with like a hideous camera, bro.
Yeah.
Hideous by the way. I won't even lie. But bro, they were told I'm coming to shoot something. I was like,
excited.
I was like, yo, I think this guy's oversold me, by the way. Because like, you know, from the hotel I was picked up like in a Porsche. Yo, there was security, there was champagne, and then like, listen, I'm thinking like, yo, what is this? How like you treat people who actually do it? I was like, yo, people don't give a shit about me in my country, man. I was like, I'm
Here
just
you have
shooting,
champagne on tap,
bro. So I'm just saying, like, it's so different and weird when you experience that somewhere else. When in your country, like, it's just like people around you, I don't know what kind of mentality we have, man, but we have to shape it though.
I think it's culture. You know, there was a time when a lot of people were talking about, oh, you know, the reason why Kenyan music is not doing well is because we don't have a Kenyan sound. Yeah. I don't believe that. I can understand where people come from, but I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I don't believe it is because that's not what Kenya's culture is, right? I mean, we can't even decide on a national dress. You know what I mean?
True. We've never been that.
Yeah. So I mean, our strength is in that we are diverse. That is what I think our biggest strength is.
True.
Is that we are diverse. We're easy to digest everywhere. You know, and it's that's the kind of thing that I think will take our culture to the next step. But before that's done, we need to celebrate our culture.
Man.
Not just play it, not support it, not this thing for ni support, bro. No, let's stop supporting. Let's start celebrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's the difference between supporting is that, like, okay, sawa, let me help out a guy, versus I really like this guy's music, you know?
And I think that's just one, and that's why, like, even for me the podcast was just important, because I have to, it's a platform that I can have those conversations with people. It's not just about like promoting, because you see, if you go on tele or radio, like by now the interview would have been done, because this album and everything, but now we forget about to have conversations about the little things that actually cause, like, you know, that make us not grow like as friends, just culture and everything. Because I've been having like this conversation on the podcast as well. Like, you've seen like all these women empowerment programs. Every week women are sitting together talking about, like, you know, finances, business and everything. Bro, homies are not sharing information about anything. I'd have like one friend who was like a crazy successful business, one has like 3 or 4 Benzes, one has I'm like, yo, can't we share information about like just legit knowing, so that we all, if we go somewhere and like we're spoiling ourselves, we're buying something, it's not just Nani who's buying drinks. It's like, yo, I chomoa stack, you chomoa stack, and everybody's like just said we have to. Yo, man,
men don't talk enough. we don't talk enough. Tena men, I think we have the most superficial conversations.
Okay, just hold on.
But that's another whole topic.
No, hold on to that, Konza. You see women advising each other on people to date. They're like, oh, if he doesn't drive, don't date. But they do advise each other. They are advising, they're talking about the issues they're going through. But as men, I mean, guys are just like, the way you said, superficial conversations. Like, hey, how's it going, bro? Hey, that's a nice moti. Hey, that's a nice chick. She has a nice bum. But we can't be talking about that the whole time, every time we meet. And even for me, I'm just tired of those conversations anyway. I think that's why the podcast comes in. Where I can just call somebody. And it's so crazy because even at times I know people. But when I bring them to the podcast, like now you start knowing like this person, because you're like, yo, I've known you for like 3-4 years. But how comes we've never had like this kind of conversation since we knew each other? So speaking of which, we're just talking behind the scenes, like off camera, about the, like even just the young generation who are coming up. We can't keep pointing fingers like, like, oh, the young Kenyan guys are going towards the wrong direction with the things that we're seeing online. Yet us, ourselves, we're not, where else are they supposed to get the guidance from?
I don't know. I think for us, I think our main issue, at least, and like I'm speaking for myself and from like the people that I've interacted with as like my boys and whatever, and largely like I compare stories like with, say, for example, my female friends or girls that I've dated, and you always hear that, like, when they are younger, they're always being told, this is how a lady behaves. This is what it means to be, a lady. Like, if there's times of stress and trouble, like, they come together, they have conversations, let's come, let's meet for coffee, or come over, let's get some ice cream and cry about it and watch some movies, or let me there's just like this, they formed community. They formed community. And I think because largely as men we've had a place of privilege, it's just been like, you're just expected to, like, since it's easier for us to navigate this world, it's it's there wasn't really a need for guidance, because when you're born a guy, you're born with the advantage, so essentially we taught each other. So from like school, like, there were things that made guys cool in school. There were cool guys in school, and there were certain things that made them cool. There were certain conversations that wouldn't happen. It's just a thing of like, you look, you see, understood. That's what. This is how we talk to babes. And like, true. And I remember my friend telling me that, not even my friend telling me, you watch on like movies and you see how these guys are like in the States and whatever, and they're just like, hey, yo, blue dress. Blue dress. Hey, yo, ma. Like literally on the road. And I didn't believe it until I saw it in person. Like when I was in the States and I actually saw a guy in traffic roll down his window. He's like, hey, yo, ma, you fine as hell, girl. Come here. What's your name? And she's like, my name's Shanae. It's like 0755. No, 55. You gonna call me, right? and like, this is in the middle of traffic. Like, that's the culture. That's how they were taught. This is how you holler at babes. And like, some babes really, really, really don't like it, but others, for like Kina Shanae, it was working.
They'd be good. They'd be good with that.
But so I feel like a lot of those things we had to learn on our own, from just like figuring out what works for you, and it's a good thing. But I think we can have so much more impact on future male generations if we actually have conversations with the younger guys. you know.
We need to, bro. We need
think
to go.
I think that's the thing that differentiates. That's what gets us to the next level. You
Yeah.
know, I think about myself even in my career. Coming in, I hardly had anybody to tell me,
To guide you.
to guide me, to tell me the way it works. You know, and well, that was a teachable moment for myself, because now I had to go and learn the lessons for myself. I could have benefited from a lot more guidance earlier, you know. And when I started understanding the value of guidance, it was much later, you know. So then I was working with people like Eric Wainaina, and then I was able to see that, like, this guy is actually a very wise and experienced guy, and he's somebody that I need to learn from, you know. And then I go out of my way to learn, you know. But we need to have more of those conversations.
They're not there. I told you, like, you know, I was telling, who was I telling this? I was having this conversation with, Junior. I'm sure you know Junior.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was just telling him, like, it's gotten to a point where, like, even ourselves, just look at, just even online, like social media. Like, I don't know if it's a worldwide thing, but I think, like, just in Kenya, like, even just men don't take each other seriously, man. Yeah, and I was saying, like, somebody would go, like, on Twitter, let's say the president has posted something. Yeah, maybe you don't like him, but the way somebody's, like, just addressing the president, okay, like, bruh, that's how you're just addressing somebody who I think, like, is so important to the country.
Yeah.
How about, like, just your regular nini? And that's why, like, there are those funny memes about boy child, because nobody's taking, like, men seriously, because men also themselves are just not taking themselves seriously. When was the last time you had, like, just in Kenya, like, a men's forum when people are talking about, like, investment, finances, dressing, swag, courtship? When was the last time you had even people just having that discussion?
Barely. I think a men's conference on Valentine's Day.
And that was a fucking joke. And that was a big joke. Imagine. But the one thing that's supposed to be, like, actually important, it was like a whole joke.
But you see how that just tells you about the culture, you know, like, because it's a real thing that somebody decided, let's make fun of this thing, you know, we're going to have a conference to discuss, because these are things that need to be discussed.
We need to.
You saw all those, like, memes of the agenda and, like, the people that are going to be presenting on certain things, you know, like, that's ideally what a men's conference should look like.
And those people would be appropriate to have those discussions if they had turned that thing into, like, something serious. But now on the flip side, like, as long as people keep joking about it, what people don't understand is recently BBC did, like, a documentary. I don't know whether you saw it. On? Suicide rate going up. Kenyan men. And, bro, like, it's serious. Like, even when they were shooting, they went to a different household after interviewing guys in one household. And by the time they got to the other household, somebody had hanged themselves from this other household that they had left. Like, the suicide rate is going. But you see, we don't speak on them because, like, we're saying men are supposed ideally to be just strong and are not supposed to be weak. But I just think it's gotten to a point, like, right now, as much as we want to joke about, like, the boy child thing and, you know, women are out. You see, like, even this program that comes on Ibru, man. You know, I see, like, these girls trashing, like, men every single day. Every single day. But I'm like, yo, to us we're in a good place because we're not part of, like, that super young generation. But what about the people who are coming up?
It's true.
These are their brothers, their nephews, their nieces who are doing this, and it's still gonna affect them, whether it's not directly. I don't want my kid to be called, like, you know. And I saw this one, Kwanzaa, there was this guy who said, he said, I think he was, like, a hooker. I'll send you that link. The chick trashed this guy, bro.
Yeah. Oh, was it one of these dating shows?
Yeah, I'm talking about these dating shows.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yo, we can't, like, just, because as much as we're making fun of it, that's actually what they're picking up, and that's what the energy is, like, right now. Nobody's taking men, like, seriously at all.
I hear that. And for me, that's become, like, a real topic that I really think is important to talk about. So I know we haven't gotten there yet, but on the album there's a particular song that I recorded called "Boys Don't Cry," and essentially it's about that, you know. And there's,
I like where this is going.
Yeah,
See, I mean,
and one of the verses is it says, yani msee akikushow amesikitika, unamkimbisha ba kumharibisha. 2 shots 3 shots buda harakisha, matatizo kwa mzinga ndo tunazificha.
True.
Same shit, same story. So I put his pic on IG only with a paybill account, an M-Pesa amount, and about 7 broken heart emojis. Then where they're saying, gone too soon, pasiana wika. The next Isa, say friends and the teachers. Yani, my real best friend, all the time that we'd spend, and I still didn't have the guts to reach out. You know what I mean? So it's...
And isn't this what we're talking about
exactly,
right now?
Exactly. So it's that there are so many issues that we are covering up with just like, we'll be okay, let's go have a shot, you know?
Yeah.
Let's have another few shots. Kabaya kamzinga like this, the problems will go, you know? And that and like you said, suicide rates are going up, you know?
Yep.
And then now we're just supposed to post a picture on IG about it, you know? Let's say send money, now we're all changang money. Let's not changa money, let's have the conversation
now
before,
when we can.
Before it's too late.
Yeah.
And these are people that you're close to, you know?
Your homies, you chill out, you
Yeah.
meet over the week. Like, bro, you don't even ask somebody.
Exactly. It's not even a thing of like men's conference. Where I don't think we even need to go there just yet. I think the thing that we is just like somebody that you know, somebody that you trust. Call him and ask him, are you okay?
Are you good?
Like, what's going on? For real. What's going on? Are you okay? You know? And just remove that idea of that, because you're a man, vumilia, and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes life ni kuvumilia, but it's extremely important to talk about these things. Extremely important. If you're not going to talk about it with your friends, find the money and go see a therapist, because that's important. Mental health is important.
It is.
You know, just the same way that you go and see a doctor when your tummy is hurting or you're having migraines, is the same way that you need to see a doctor to ensure that your health of your mind is 100%. You know, and it's something that I think, generally speaking, men or women, we like, it's still stigmatized quite a bit. But we need to open up that thing. That therapy is not a weakness, you know. That talking about your issues is not a weakness. And I'm not saying going tell everybody your issues.
Yeah,
you know,
don't have to.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Keep your privacy, you know.
Yeah.
And which is why that code is there for. Which is why people go to school for years to study, to be able to deal with and understand how different minds work. Even therapists have therapists, you know.
They do.
Yeah. So it's a completely real thing that needs to be addressed.
And at this day and age, I think there is so much pressure, and people don't even understand like maybe what success is, and they kind of forget following their own path because they've seen maybe something like on Instagram, and they start chasing something else instead of like just following their own path. It's like a little bit of a mixed signals that people are giving each other, and they just don't know. Plus, there's no blueprint to this. Like, the generation is just changing so super fast.
Yeah.
And that's why when I'm telling you, like, I don't understand what these kids are doing.
Yeah.
It's not coming from, but I really genuinely don't understand.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I just don't even want to imagine, like, after, like, how 10 years, what we'll be dealing with. I don't know.
It's, the one thing I've noticed is that it's a different face, but it's the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, but that's true.
It always has a different face, but if you really look past the face, it's the same thing. We're always going around in cycles. Just the things that we were experiencing when we were 18 to 22 are the very similar issues that the previous men of the generation or even previous women were experiencing. Things have changed, Some things change
almost the same.
bit, but like the cycle is the same.
We didn't have like social media wasn't like that fuel.
True.
The way it is right now.
True.
So we also don't know how we'd have been acting if we had it back then.
That's true. I mean, I think if anything, social media is probably making people more, I wouldn't say careful. I don't know if people have become better humans because of social media. I don't know.
Bro,
I don't know. I think it's mixed.
I
It's
tell you,
mixed.
like right now, I'm approaching like social media. Like I am so careful, because I think here's the thing. If you think about it, like maybe 4 years ago, the position you were in is not the same like right now.
Correct.
So probably you'd have afforded to like be a little bit reckless and stuff. But even nowadays, like I'd be chilling, having fun somewhere. But if you whip out a camera and I don't know exactly what
Yeah.
you're recording,
Yep.
we need to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Be like, what? That was supposed to be in our privacy,
And
cause
that camera could be live. It's not even something for
bro, it's not even like you'll post it tomorrow.
Yeah,
It could be
yeah.
like live, IG live.
Yeah. And now anybody's a walking TV.
Yep. It
Yeah.
can actually like damage like everything that you've worked for so hard.
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example. And of course, this I'm mentioning because it's already out there. People know about it. And a lot of people didn't understand why she was doing what she was doing. What happened to Kobe Kihara? It's a social media pressure. Everybody was seeing her in this position. She's doing all these things. She's like, the perfect, role model and everything. But she was just going through a social media pressure. She felt the need to post these things, repost and say this, she owns this, she knows this person and all these things. And then when it blew on her face, she just didn't know. A lot of people were making fun of it. But for me, I think I laughed for like almost half a day because of the memes. But then I thought about it. I was like, shit, just wait, think about it.
Yeah.
This has to be like something more than it looks like. Could be like a mental thing she's going through or whatever. Because how else would you explain that? She had everything that anybody can think or would want, especially if you're coming from uni and you're trying to pursue that journalism career. She had everything.
But you see, that again is I think that in itself highlights the issue, because from where we're standing, she had everything, right? But we don't know her reality.
That's true.
We don't. We know some facts. You know.
Yeah, not true.
We know some facts, but we don't know her real reality. And so I think, even for me, the thing that I realized more than anything is that social media is not honest. Yeah. And so because you only we know most people, most personalities from social media.
Yeah.
You only know what I show you. Yeah. If from here I go and panda a Jav and then I enter like my little tiny SQ to go and live.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You wouldn't.
But I'll come out here, I'll be here, I'm Kagwe Mungai, nini, I'm flexing, nini.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm going home and like there's no food in the house,
True.
So it's you only know what we see. And I my thing is that I don't know how we get out of that pressure, because it is only human to compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
It's only human. We will never stop comparing ourselves to others. Social media just puts like crack on that, it's intensified times a million, because you're seeing these things all the time. You're seeing it, I mean, the amount of time we spend on our phones and whatever, you're seeing it from your favorite celebrities, you're seeing it from people that you went to school with or are going to school with. You're seeing it from your workmates.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these times, it's not even like real like that.
It's not. 80% of the time, it's not even like, bro, it's so crazy.
Like, so for example, like you were saying how when you were in essay, like, so now you post about that, right? Ooh. People who know you will be like, wow, John's life has changed sana. Way. But that was a really dope weekend. Like it was a really dope weekend. Yeah.
And I wasn't paying for anything.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying for anything.
But now guys are like, hey, you get John done made it. Me, I'm doing nothing with my life.
That's
right?
True. That's true.
And then I go into depression and so on and so forth and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's that I don't, because it's like real life is boring.
It is.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You have bills, you have reality checks. You're like, I need to do this. It's been 2 years. How comes I haven't achieved this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we.
But
goals are important.
Yeah.
It's important to set goals and set goals for yourself, measured against yourself. I always try to compare myself to my previous self. Yeah. So I look at myself like,
see the progress.
Yeah.
See the growth.
If I met and I always ask people this: if you met the 16-year-old version of yourself today, would he like you and would you like him?
Definitely wouldn't like him.
You wouldn't like him.
Nah. But from my 16-year-old seeing me, be like, yo,
He'll
bro,
be like,
that's
wow, that
progress.
Guy, that guy's cool.
Yeah,
he'd want to hang out with you.
Definitely.
He'd want to like talk to you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But how, like, for you, how do you detach yourself from like just getting swallowed in that world? Because especially being like in just the entertainment industry, it comes with so much, and even like with fake friendships and all those superficial things that we're talking about. Because like I've been like fortunate enough to be like, I'm always hanging around like all these people and people with big names, big brand names and everything. But at times I just like, I can't have conversations for long if like they're just
Shallow.
those those nini. That's why like I'm always like, yo, what's up? But I do come and say what's up to everybody, and I just move to like my little corner and stuff, and like I'd chill like maybe with girls who are dancing for me hapo kidogo. Just just things that are not like, I'd rather do that than have like those fake conversations, bro. Those conversations I'm talking about.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
How do you not get lost in that world, especially in just entertainment is crazy, man. Yeah.
One is, I'd probably say, is my circle. So my inner circle are not entertainment people. My closest friends are not entertainment people. I think I have maybe one really close friend who is in entertainment. Other than that, completely outside of it.
People just make you feel normal, like when you're chilling with them, Ama.
It's that, but also they also. You see, the thing is, if you go to an entertainment function, and I know you know this because you've experienced it.
Bruh.
You go, there's a lot of these like, let me gas you up, you gas me up, let me gas you up, you gas me up, and then we move on. Yeah. Like, my friends would gas me up if it's not real. They're not going to gas me up. They'll be like, it's easy. Like it's sour, like it was nice, but I mean, you tried.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
My friends aren't going to hype me up unless they're actually jazzed. They're not going to hype me up, And in fact, most times, the issue that I have with my friends is that I feel like they don't see me as a celeb.
Don't appreciate you, man. Oh, bro, bana.
The other day I'm in the car, I'm with my boy. And then he tells me, he's like, why is this guy staring at me? And I'm like, bro, he's not staring at you. You forgot what I do for a living. He's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, now I understand.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I forgot that you are, So like those kind of things help me out. And because I'm surrounded by that kind of environment, when now I am in the entertainment thing, I see it for what it is.
You actually can tell the difference.
I'm aware that this isn't real, this kind of conversation, this isn't a real conversation. This is somebody who just needs a bit of validation, And if it's to my interest, then I will validate you. If it's not to my interest, then I will not validate you.
True.
And that's just the simple way of navigating it. Keep the real ones close. And then everything else becomes clear. Everything else becomes clear.
True. Okay, now let's just touch on the album.
Yes.
This is your first album, right?
It's my first album.
Okay. How would you describe like your kind of music? I don't know how to categorize it. It's not kapuka. It's not the new sound that people are going for with the new dance. It's just something very different, but something that I know about your music, it has some international appeal.
I think I'm glad you asked that question, because that question is a huge reason as to why I called my album Spectrum. Right? So as an individual, you are not one thing, Some people know you as, the Kissing Bandit. Other people know you as a videographer. Other people know you for your podcasts. And various other many things that I may not know about, right? You are not one thing. You don't like one kind of movie. You don't only watch action movies. You don't only listen to genge, you know.
Yeah.
You listen to so many things.
A lot.
You listen to a lot, and I feel that in the world, people, to understand you, need to put you in a box. Yeah. They're like, okay, so what exactly is it that you do? Yeah. Where can I put you in this box in my mind? Because right now I don't know where to put you.
I put you in R&B. I put you in.
Because once I can put you in a box, then I can form an opinion about you.
Right? Yeah.
But that's not, again, real, you know. So for me, because I can go a whole day and listen to 17 different genres just by listening to one radio station. Yeah. And I can appreciate all those genres. As an artist, I feel like I should be able to make as many genres of music as I want. Yeah. If I want to make country music today, I will wake up and make country music. If I feel like doing gospel, then I will wake up and do gospel, you know.
Paul is doing it.
And it's happening, you know what I mean? And so that's what the album is about. The album is saying that I am a spectrum. We are all spectrums of things, you know. We're not one individual thing. So that's what spectrum means. That's what the album is about. It's to showcase, again, the thing that I mentioned earlier, that I think our strength as a country, the strength of our culture is that we are diverse, you know. We are diverse, and we can move into various different pockets as we choose and please, you know. Yeah.
Who are some of the people you've? Because I'll be honest, I haven't listened to.
You need to listen to it.
I will. Yeah. Today I will. I'll repost and everything, because like I just try and have like these normal conversations. So, because like I said, I don't want to have like those superficial conversations. Like, hey, your album, and then I'm lying to you, I haven't even listened to it. But like today, I'll actually go and listen to it, so that even when I'm just sharing like the podcast and everything, I know, and I'm intrigued not just by the music, because like I know about the conversations that we had, and like even the song that you talked about, like you know, about like just looking out like for your homie. They now make more sense to me, because we've had like those conversations. So, who are some of the people, like maybe let's say you involved in your album?
Initially, the way I went about it was I did everything myself first. One, because I just wanted to. I didn't want it to be a collection of songs. Yeah, I had a particular way I wanted this thing to flow. And the way I think about the album Spectrum is it's a soundtrack for life. Yeah. So I think about it like this. I wake up in the morning. There's a song there called Good Times, right? So it's very upbeat, you know, just like get ready for the day. Today is about to be a good day, you know. The sun is shining nicely. You're looking fresh. You're feeling good, you know, like it's great. And then maybe like you go into Jobo, and then things start to get a bit stressful. Maybe you meet a babe there, you holler at her, you know, at lunchtime. You get her number. Nini. By maybe 3 o'clock there, you've maybe got into an argument with this babe, or your ex has now shown up out of nowhere. And now you're remembering all of the heartbreak, and now you're at the end of the day, now you're tired, you're upset, you know. You're meeting up with your boys, you're hearing about how your boy is going through something in particular, or how somebody has lost somebody that you cared about, and then you go into a bit of a darker place, you know. And by the end of the day, you're there like, you know what, I'm a stronger and better person because of what I've gone through today. You know, I know the things that I am worth. I know what my value is. I know that I've come so far. I know there's still so much more to go, but tomorrow is another day, and let's begin, you know. And that's what I wanted the album to be. I wanted somebody to be able to listen to this album from when they wake up to when they go to sleep. You know, so that
there's everything going on.
There's so many topics in there, you know, so many important topics that are there, from the idea of how we approach masculinity, to mental health, to the factors affecting our country and our society, to just like fun time nonsense talk, like you know, like just like talking nonsense and laughing and being vibes and hollering at babes and getting heartbroken, you know. Everything is there, you know. And that's what my hope is. My hope is that when people listen to it from beginning to end, you can go through that journey of like an entire day and just see that, wow, okay, this is just a human.
It has everything. Life. Life as you're describing. And it's also very rare to like hear an artist saying that, especially like in Kenyan market, to see like, I want the album to have all these things that you're talking, mental health, all those things.
Yeah.
I think like for now, a lot of people are just chasing like club bangers. And it's good, or at least reassuring, to just hear that somebody's actually taking their time to address all those different things. And that's why I'm saying like now if I go and listen to the album, it has a whole different meaning other than just like
playing
just
songs.
Playing music or people dancing to it, having it as a ringtone. No, it makes more sense. And I can actually tell somebody like, hey, by then Ani has this song, have you listened to it? It talks about A, B, C and D. All those little things that you're talking about, they are so important, yet are never addressed. Because either I think people are running away from reality. And I think so.
It's true. And also, those are the hard conversations to have, No one wants to have them, especially not publicly, I think it takes a bit of courage to do that. So as you were asking in terms of like who is on the album, so when I was writing some of these songs, I didn't have collaborations because I wanted them to be honest. And
so you don't have any feature?
I do. I eventually added features.
Okay, so
but initially,
when you started,
when I started,
the whole idea.
I was like, let me not involve too many people. I want it to be as real and honest. And there's some songs there that I feel are almost even too honest. It's like I put out my actual diary, and I put it on a song, and it's there for the world to hear, and it's forever going to be there. I can't take it back now, But then after that, now when I felt that these things were real, now I then felt okay. Now you then start to think about it as a whole piece. You're like, okay, does this song need a collaboration? Does this one need to change this and change that? And then so you start just going through it, doing different drafts, the same way you would do writing. Any kind of creative writing. You just go back and you look at it and you're like, is this the best version of what this could be? Yes, no. If it's not, what is the thing that needs to improve it? Do we need a different beat? Do we need a different artist? That kind of a thing.
What can we change?
Exactly. So right now, the people that are on the album is Naiboy. Shout out Naiboy. Mr. Seed. Mr. Seed is on. We've done a gospel track together called Ogopa Mungu. There's Niniola, who we did Till the End with, from Nigeria. And Fena and Mayonde, who we did Kama Kawaida with.
And I've noticed you guys have like a close relationship with Fena and Mayonde. Is that after you got into the industry, or they've just been like nice people to associate with or talk to when it comes to music?
I think with Mayonde, I got closer to her. I think when we started making music. And even with Fena, but Fena was probably my first friend in the entertainment scene back in 2012 when we did Dutch. So from that point, when me and Fena met at that point, we just became homies. We always say it's like we were separated at birth. We really think the same. And she's an amazing individual. She's one of my best friends to this day.
She's one of the people who, like, I remember the first time I met her, and she's always the same person. She always gives you the same energy. She never changes to like. No, I'm saying the growth is there, but I'm just saying, like, as
she's
a
not
person,
shady.
She's not shady.
She's not gonna.
See you, she'll holler and everything. Hey, man, there's some people meet after 2 years. They're like, what? What do you mean? I need to talk to who before I talk to?
Suddenly, guy has an accent,
bro. Man, this Nairobi is crazy though. But you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So Fena is definitely like, okay, now I understand like how the relationship and everything. So, are there some people? Would you say that? Let's say there's a time you wanted to, because we're still talking about the album, but since we're talking about features, is there a time maybe you wanted like features with people when you're coming up and they were not open to it, and yet maybe like right now they've reached out to, hey, can we do something together? They're there?
I mean, for sure. There's a lot of people who back in the day I asked for favors or not even favors, but and to be very honest, I'll give you a real example.
Yeah.
When I was like 15, somebody introduced me to somebody who knew Waire. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at the time, I was trying to be a rapper. So I found a way to go to Waire's studio, and I got an appointment with him.
Yeah.
And I was nervous. I had a rhyme book with papers that were just falling out. So I was there like fumbling my book like this, and he was like, "Rap for me, yeah." So I go and I'm like trying to rap, and I'm like, and I'm stammering, and he's like, "Okay, do something else." And like, I did like maybe like 4, 5, 6 raps, you know. And he just told me, "You're not ready. You know, you need. There's still so much work you need to do.
Yeah.
You know." And for me, I took that as rejection. But fast forward to maybe like 2013.
Yeah.
I was in the studio with Waire as an artist.
And Waire is one of the most chilled people in the industry.
Very chill. Very chill. You know.
Yeah.
And so it's for me. I don't see it as necessarily that Ati. Back then he was you know, he was seeing me as like nothing, and then now he's seeing that things are no that's not the case at all.
It's just legit. He was just telling you need
it's
to
just
work
that,
on yourself, Kwanzaa, and then
exactly. There was no, for him, there was no real nini, like he couldn't be the guy to invest in me. I needed to do that first. You know. And once he's seen that, then I can be able to, now he can come in and put his Waire touch on it. You know. And so we had made a song together and everything. So that kind of thing has happened, you know, because I always choose to look at these things, all experiences, as positive experiences. There's not a wasted interaction that you will have with your life.
That's true.
Not one. There's always a lesson there, and if you haven't learned it, then you'll continue learning and be in the same space. You know, when you learn the lesson is when you move to the next level.
And true, and it's the only way you'll start appreciating like your journey, or even when like you learn something, you actually start appreciating it in a very different way. If you get certain views, you understand what those numbers mean. You definitely understand. It's not one day you just because you threw like a hot chick in the video and then it has crazy views. You won't understand the journey.
Exactly.
You really won't.
Exactly.
Okay, when it comes to just like album promo, how do you promote an album in just within the Kenyan audience? How easy is it for like an artist to just like promote? Use social media, or just like what are the main ways you can really push the music out there?
I think these days it's even harder to sell albums these days. The reason being is that our attention spans are so much shorter, you know. I think even for YouTube, they've now reduced the time for it to count as one view. True. Because attention spans are that short. I mean, this week alone, if you go on iTunes or Spotify and see the new albums that were released between Saturday last week and today, there are so many. The singles, remixes, all of those things, covers, you know. Like TV shows, we are bombarded with content all the time, right? And so for me it's about just branching out and getting into conversations that allow people to be interested in an album, similar to these conversations we're having now. You know, and that's why this album is so important for me, because the album is about real conversations in every aspect of life, at least most aspects of my life, you know. And so if those conversations can be had, whether it's through memes, whether it's through doing traditional press, you know, magazines, or modern things where we're here on podcasts and just chatting about life and music and everything, then that's the way that we go, you know. And luckily for me, it's all fun. I really enjoy all of these things. I'll rarely be in a situation where I'll be like, I don't want to do this one. This. And I think just even having having a team is very, very important. Especially when it comes to like now promo, because they make sure they put a schedule down for you to understand.
this applies to even like the way we were saying, like the 47%, you also still cater for them.
Absolutely.
So that at least everybody can have a chance or opportunity to
Absolutely.
know what you're trying to put out there.
And these days you have to be clever with the way you're selling yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and that for me is the one thing I think I've always understood. I remember back in the day when, before the management and everything, I would be calling people to book shows. And I call somebody, I'm just like, hey, my name is Kagwe, I'm an artist. I hear you have a festival coming up. I have a lot of songs and like I'm a good stage performer.
Yeah.
And that just it started sounding a bit weird because everything I was getting was, we don't have space. We will let you know. We don't have space. This is closed. No thanks. We're not interested. So then I remember thinking, I was at a point of desperation. I remember I picked up the phone. It was dialing somebody's, and I was just thinking, this is such a waste of time. I've been doing this for months, and nothing has worked.
Yeah.
And the phone is ringing, and then the guy picked up.
Yeah.
And he was like, hello. So I panicked. I was like, so now that I know I'm wasting my time, should I still have this conversation? So he's like, hello. I don't know where it came from. Out of nowhere. I'm just like, hello, my name is David. I'm calling you from the Kagwe Mungai company, and we've got a wide range of artists, primarily Kagwe Mungai because he's quite our breadwinner at the moment. And, I hear that you have this festival coming up, and Kagwe is quite the performer. I'm not sure if you've seen his videos, but I can send you some. He's got some on YouTube and on SoundCloud and everything. He's doing quite a good job. And it worked.
The guy was like, oh, this guy sounds important.
And it
sounds
worked.
like, yeah.
And then I remember going somewhere, I think I was at Brew or something, just like having a night out with my boys. And I met this chick and she's just like, by the way, I talked to David. We're going to meet next week. And I was like, David? She's like, the British guy. I was like, oh, my manager, David. Yes. David is, he's left the country, but he's coming back in like 3 months. So you and me, let's just meet. Cindy?
Let's talk.
Yeah. We'll bring in David later.
Yeah.
So like you have to be creative with the way that you're going to sell yourself.
It brings in a different kind of seriousness.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, as much as people would want to say, like, I know Kagwe, I want to talk to him directly, there's structures in place that definitely will make things look serious, sound serious, and make things just go the right way. And like you said, that's where I think a lot of people are going wrong. Maybe they don't know how to sell themselves.
Yeah.
I've had there's an artist I had here I think 2-3 weeks ago, and she's my friend, but she also sounded like she's very frustrated with just the industry in general. And she told me, like, she even got to a point where she went into depression and she was on medication as well.
Yeah.
And it's that serious because you might just be waking up every day and doing music for fun, but as you grow older, and I think it's just because it's a Kenyan thing, we don't take ourselves to be mature until we're like way past like age of being mature. Because you go to like the States, 18, 19, guys are taking this shit seriously, man. Thinking of marketing strategies, iTunes, Spotify, they're doing this shit like from the get-go. In Kenya, it's like until you get like 28, now that's when you start taking like contracts seriously, brand partnership seriously. It's just one of those things. It's tricky to maneuver if you are in the Kenyan industry.
It's true. That I completely agree.
But there's no what do you call it? There's no excuse for ignorance.
No. Not in 2019. not in 2019. Not anymore. Not when there's the University of YouTube at your fingertips. Man. Not when you can literally ask Google by saying to your phone, "Hey Google," not in an age where that exists.
When everything is there for you online.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. No, just finish. What did you want to say?
No, I was just saying, as long as you have data. Kama uko na bundles.
Uko sawa. I wanted to ask about like now brand partnerships, because I know you are one of the brand ambassadors to Ciroc, right? Ciroc. How does that partnership play a role when it comes to like such a time when now this is like one of those like moments where like just your first album, where does the partnership come in? Does it play a big role as well to just promote you as a person?
I think
as a brand.
For me, the idea behind any brand partnership that I'm doing, whether it's with a label, whether it's with a brand, a fast-moving consumer good,
product, service,
any product or service, it needs to fit into the thing that I am, right? The thing that I am selling, the bigger idea of the Mungai brand, right? And if it fits into that, I'm not, because suddenly you're not going to find me. Well, let me not say that just yet, but I don't think you'll find.
Sell Hapik?
I was just.
You want to sell Hapik?
I'm not gonna say any brands. I'm not about to say any brands.
Hey, listen, Hapik will write you a check, bro. Mpaka will be like, oh shit, why did I say this? They'll be like, how much? They'll be like, how much? We heard what you say. How much?
Maybe it'll be Nakumat.
Who knows?
Who knows? But as long as it fits into the lifestyle, right? And it's something that I authentically do, like. And it's one of the things that I mentioned when we were working out the thing. I said, honestly, like, from time to time, I might have a beer, I might have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
But if I'm choosing to drink vodka, I would regularly choose to drink Ciroc vodka.
So it just
right?
makes sense.
So it makes sense for me. And I want something that I can believe in as well. That it, because these days you can spot authenticity. You can see when somebody is being paid
to say something,
to sell something. You're just selling, you're selling. But like if it's a part of you and what you would love and understand, then it's you're just living your life and getting paid to do it. And that for me is, I think, how these brand partnerships work for me. All of them, they fit into my lifestyle, and and so it works.
Do you think it's changing now? Cause like, is it changing, or are companies being like more receptive to working with artists, influencers? Because a long time ago it wasn't like
no.
They were just like, what? No. We can't.
We can't trust artists. That's what the saying used to be. We can't trust artists because artists are what's the word? Time bombs.
Ticking time bombs.
Yeah. Anything can happen anytime. Like
controversies.
Anything, right? And I think what's happening now is that people in the entertainment scene are starting to take themselves a lot more seriously and investing into themselves. And just like with any business, when you're going to look for investors or you're going to look for whatever, you have to show that you've invested something into your own business. You've tried the product. You've gone and sold it to a few people. They have actually enjoyed it. They have enjoyed the experience of using your product or using your service. At that point, that's now when they want to invest, because they're like, this thing works. If we add a bit more money, it works, right? And we get to win also. And I think now we're at the stage where corporates are now starting to see artists as viable, ways to increase awareness about their brand and to increase talkability and all of these things. And so it's happening now where they're like, Mungai has invested in his brand. King Kaka has invested in his brand. Calligraph has invested in his brand. Fena has invested in her brand. And so now these people are now getting endorsements, right? And this continues to go up. And so the more people are investing into themselves, the more available these things are.
And I think it's just very important what you've said. There are some people who think just because they're talented, they'd wait for, brand is going to pick me and invest in me. But if you don't show that, I think a lot of companies would be a bit skeptical or like jumping in. They're like, if it's not putting a lot of effort in, like even just like some nice shoes, why should we come and buy him shoes?
Exactly.
Why should we come and make him start buying studio equipment, having his own like kind of like team behind him? Because like you said, if somebody's calling you and they're told like, somebody's going to follow up with this and this, and they see that kind of structure in you, they'll be like, oh, okay, now this makes more sense if we... And Kagwe is not a ticking time bomb. It actually, there are some people who are in place to ensure that doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Because they're investing in him
Correct.
as well.
Yeah.
So it's very rare, but it's also, I think, something that a lot of young people coming in the industry might be able to learn from, like even all the names you've mentioned.
And it doesn't even have to be, when I hear people using that term a lot, invest in your brand.
Yeah.
But I don't think that people hear it and they think, oh, now you need to put money into things. And yes, sometimes it costs money. Yeah. but sometimes it's just effort. Yeah,
People will see the effort. I think people can see it. Like,
it's just one understanding. You go and you think about your brand. What is your brand? What are your strengths? Like, think about it, sit down, figure it out. That doesn't cost money. That is free.
True.
To sit and think is free, you know?
True.
So think about your brand, think about what you're trying to accomplish, your bigger goal, the bigger vision for why you want to do this. And then now work backwards from there. So you start to think, okay, so to be able to reach there, what is it that I need?
Yeah.
So to get that thing, what is that thing that I'll need to do? So before I get that other thing, what do I need to do first, you know? And eventually then you'll find the step for today. What phone call do I need to make, you know? Or how much practice do I need to put in, you know? What new skill do I need to learn? And so on and so forth.
Okay, since we are on that topic, what are you trying to achieve from your first album? What satisfaction are you looking for? Are you looking for numbers, validation from people, nominations, tour? What are you trying to achieve from like this body of work that you've just made?
So there's definitely a lot of plans for the album. So Saturday, May 18th, I have an album launch show at The Alchemist, featuring a bunch of different artists that are on and off the album. After that, we're going on tour in the country. That tour finishes within a few days. We're spreading that tour to the continent.
Okay.
From there, this summer, we're going to be in the States.
Sheesh. Okay.
Towards the end of the summer, we're going to be in Europe. So it's essentially a world tour, you know. There's Australia coming up. So all of this, there's plans for touring. There's videos that we're going to keep shooting.
Before you even finish, let me interrupt you. You see? So when you tell people to invest in themselves, don't forget about to mention the money. Money is also important. It is also important. But it's how you know how you're going to recoup it as well.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
Please just,
So there are plans that are underway, that are happening. We have distribution deals set up. We have endorsement deals coming that are in line with the album. There are remixes for songs on the album with artists from all over the world that have only almost just come up because of the release itself, you know.
Nice.
So those were unexpected. But for me, my personal goal with this first album, and it's something that I was scared to do, to be very honest. I was scared to put out an album because, to be honest, I didn't know whether people would listen, you know.
Yeah.
You can sit in your house and you know that like you are good at what you do, you know. But it's also important for other people to be impacted by it, and for me that's the goal. Impact, whether it makes you happy, angry, sad, cry, feel like jumping out of like an aeroplane to skydive, whatever you want to do, whatever it makes you feel. That for me is the impact. That's the most important thing. If I win awards for this thing, great. You know, I'm all here for the awards. I'm all here for the tours. I'm all here for everything that you know. I don't want half. I'm not doing this thing for fun. You know, I'm also trying to have an amazing life because I like nice things. You know, and I like to eat nice food, and I like to go to nice places, and I like to meet like dope people, right?
Beautiful women.
And beautiful women all the time. All the time. That's 0710.
No, but I do get, you just want the best results in every way possible.
Yes.
When you put the album out.
But as much as those things are very important for me, the core thing is impact, you know. If an individual, even if it's one individual, and I've been getting some of these messages now on my DMs and things like that since the album came out, that, you know, that song like Dawn, I was telling you about Boys Don't Cry. I remember Adele tweeted about it and she was just like, this is something, it's an amazing thing that he's done because people are not talking about this and it's such an important conversation to have, you know. And she applauded it, and there's other people who have come in, they're just like, this particular song, wow, you know, it's like, it's made me feel this way and this way, you know. That kind of impact is the greatest thing I think I can accomplish on this earth, you know, to be able to have an impact in somebody's real personal life. Give me that any day.
And it's, man, like we said, those hard I think it's just like the African culture, man. Because think about it, maybe African or Kenyan, those conversations, we don't want to have them. But let's say a good example, YouTube, Instagram, all these people who are always like motivating people constantly, giving us all these tutorials, they do that shit for free. Yes, they know other ways of how they can monetize their content and stuff, but think about like what Gary Vee does. And all these other motivational speakers that you see like just online. Like you've said, where did you learn about how to use like all the softwares and everything? Some random guy who probably don't even remember his name on YouTube. But it's for us now, like in Kenya, just to start having like just people who are influential in the media or just mainstream, starting addressing such issues. It's so important because it's very rare. I don't even think
and the issues that suit you. You know, because me, the one thing I keep telling people is I am not an activist. You will not find me picketing in front of City
protesting.
Hall. You won't find me with any placards anywhere. That's not how I achieve my thing. You know.
I'm having Bonnie here probably next week.
Okay, but that's you see, that's his lane. You know. That's his lane.
I can't do it.
Even me, I can't do that.
I can't do it.
Exactly.
I can't. I see a cop, even if he's coming to help me, opposite direction, bro. I don't need your help. I'm good. I'm good.
I'll survive.
I'm good.
So you find the things that are important to you, the issues that are important to you, and then find a way to make impact with those things.
Interesting. So I think we've touched on quite like a lot. Like you see, the whole conversation, I didn't want it to just be about music, because I'm sure for all the other interviews that you go to, it's just music.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted people to get like a glimpse of just how Kagwe is approaching different topics, different things, just your mindset in general. So before we just wind up the podcast, I normally have like this love segment.
Okay.
And you do a lot of songs that talk about just women in general.
I do.
And a lot of toxic masculinity. So what's like your, where are you like relationship wise? Do you think you function while single or in a relationship? Are you in a relationship?
I'm not in a relationship. I mean,
so ladies, slide in the DM. That segment, I'm always like, you know,
it's open. It's very open.
Slide in that
Jump
DM.
in. No, but I think
the last time I checked, you were in a relationship, if I'm not wrong. Didn't you ever introduce me to someone and say like, yo, this is my girlfriend?
I think so. It's possible. It's possible. Usually when I am dating, I'm very private about it.
Oh, okay.
I don't I don't date. I haven't dated within the industry. And two, I'm also just a very private person, you know, so I usually keep that private. And if I am dating somebody, I'll say I'm dating somebody, but I won't necessarily say who at the moment.
You know, Kenyans, they'll try to smash your chick just because you've posted her.
Or just like, also, you know, it's a different ball game when you're dating in the limelight. Then you involve that person, you involve that person's family, you involve that person's life, you know. And so you have to think about those things and whether that's important for that person as well, because maybe they're not interested at all, you know. So I know I write I write really well when I'm heartbroken.
That's for a lot of artists, though.
Yeah. In fact, there was a lot of my songs. There was a song called Till the End that I wrote when I was extremely heartbroken, and my mom came and was like, Kagwe, that's my favorite song of yours ever. I love, and I made a song for her called Mama.
But she was like,
that one was okay. This one,
I like
this one. So I was like, Mom, I wrote that song when I was heartbroken, and she was like, you should be heartbroken more often. This is such good music, you know. So I guess it's easier for me when you're heartbroken and when you're in a place of despair. And even some of these songs that I wrote about, you know, depression and all of those things, I wrote them from a very honest place, you know, from a real.
You were in that place.
Yeah, I was in those places, you know. I was always thinking I was in that mindset. So for when it comes to romance, I've also written a lot of beautiful romance songs when I'm in love, you know. So I write from my experiences. Yeah.
And just how is dating like just for you, like currently?
Yeah.
So do you go out on dates and stuff?
I go on dates.
What do you think like you attract? Because let's say once you're like in the limelight,
Yeah.
I think at times you tend to like attract people who have like different motives, and you are just legit trying to date someone, but
Yeah.
maybe somebody's trying to be with you
Yeah.
for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I think with time, what is it called? I'm trying to find the exact word. For lack of a better word, it's like hodar. You know, like you have like radar, gaydar.
Yeah.
Then there's like hodar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
and I don't
Yeah.
mean like.
Not in a bad
Not
way.
in a
We
bad
know
way.
what you
Not
mean.
in a bad way. Yeah. Just like shout out, ladies. I'm not calling you whores. No. Anyway.
Listen, I'll tell you what. Kenya is top 10 in the world when it comes to sex tourism and prostitution.
It's what?
Top 10 in the world.
Top 10.
Top 10. Yeah.
Wow.
Just Google. If I'm wrong, you call me back and let me know. So
Okay.
it's a perfect word that can be used in the Kenyan context.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think what I was basically saying is that like
You can see somebody who has like
exactly. So you start to see certain red flags,
Yeah.
and you're like, I know what that means. I've seen that before, and it's come from a place of like experience, having been in a place where I've dated somebody or been with somebody, and I felt like this person was clout chasing or
Yeah.
was, you know, looking for somebody to just like finance their life, or whatever it is, any of these different kind of things, you know.
I've put people on a diet. Ooh. I didn't know, but right now, people are on a diet. I'm like, yo, like even your Uber, you're paying your Uber, man. If you can pay yours,
Yeah.
your trip too,
Yeah.
I can pay yours from. Otherwise,
Yeah.
And you also want somebody who's like putting like almost the same effort as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm also a bit old-fashioned in that way. I really believe in romance and sweeping a girl off her feet,
Yeah.
and doing the most. And obviously, you do the most when you see value, you know, especially
Exactly.
coming back.
Yeah. You have
yeah.
to see the value. So
Yeah.
what do you think? What kind of qualities do you look for, like in a girl? Like you're in Nairobi. If you're trying to go out with a girl in Nairobi, what would be the qualities that you're looking for?
To be honest, I don't even think I have a type. My
Type.
my type is beautiful. That's my type.
Okay.
That's it. And just like dope vibes, dope conversations. If we can have conversations that the wider the range of the conversations, the better, you know. If we share the same sense of humor, even better. Style is important. Hey, that's
swag, man.
Style is important.
Yeah, style has to be
Style
there.
is important. It's not that you have to look like you're going to the Met Gala. No.
Yeah.
Just like your own individual style.
Have
That's
that
like
touch.
yeah, your own individual style. That's just you. You know, that is not. It's not pretending.
True.
It's not pretending to be anything else. It's just being yourself. And I think mainly that it's people who are really comfortable in their own skin. You know, that don't feel that they need to pretend or act a certain way to be perceived a certain way. It's just, this is who I am, pende usipende.
Yeah. And just to mention, since we're just still also on that topic, what do you think of just like the whole new wave of, you know, how a majority of the girls are like, yo, I'm not dating anyone who's like on the come up. He has to be successful. He has to have like this car. He has to have a big house. Sorry.
It's okay.
I actually heard or saw something on some show, like a chick who said like, I want somebody with a big house and not a house that they're renting, a house that they own.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I have to have finished paying my mortgage before I date you?
Yep.
You know how old people are by the time they finish paying mortgage. No, but what do you think about that? Because like it seems like if you go online now, like the whole theme is like, you know what? If he doesn't have like his money ready, if he doesn't have his shit together, I can't date him. I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think that's fine as long as okay, for me, if somebody's coming at me like that, if you have your shit together and you're telling me
Hey,
that,
let's do it.
cool, great.
Yeah, I'll get my. I mean, by the way, that makes so much
Yeah.
sense if you say it that way.
Yeah, if
Like,
you have
yo,
your shit
you want
together,
somebody with a big house because you have a big house, and it's only fair. It makes sense.
I mean, and it's not necessarily that you even have it, but like maybe you're working towards it. You know, and like and that for me is important. But also,
Yeah.
I think there are also people who are extremely okay with taking care of other people and being taken care of. Yeah, I've had people offer to take care of me. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's not my lane, right?
Please, I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Where are you? I need a bigger setup. I need so many.
I'll sambaza you the number.
Please.
Don't worry.
Oh,
yeah.
please. Yeah. I haven't found any of those.
But you know, and like some people are happy to take care of other people.
No,
you know,
true,
and
true.
you just want, your job is to sit there, look pretty, and when you're needed, you show up, right? And that's fine because that's what you want to do.
makes you happy, yeah.
That's what makes you happy.
Yeah.
For me, it's I can't have somebody in my life that I am just giving money to, just for the sake of just like every day, just have it.
I don't think
Just
that's
have
how.
it. Even if money wasn't an object.
Yeah.
You know.
You'd want somebody who's there, like, just in case even shit hits the fan, bro.
Yeah.
Look at people like all these, like, Jay-Z, Beyonce, like the power couples that we can look up to. Since we are talking maybe in regards to like music industry, even like Obama, man. You saw like Obama's picture when he was in Kenya with Michelle.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Now that's how you create like power couples.
Do you think there are power couples in Kenya?
Bro, where?
There are none. You can't name one power couple in Kenya.
Listen, I said, you know what? So what's so interesting in this topic? I asked somebody, like I've asked a lot of people, and let me ask you as well.
Yeah.
We don't have like good examples of power couples in the country right now.
Okay.
Not so many of them. Who would you describe as like a Jay-Z and Beyonce? You know, like the way we have all these other people, Gucci Mane and the wifey.
Yeah.
I
think I just saw my new wife. I don't know who that is, but
she's pretty.
She might be my new wife.
Wait, you don't know her?
No.
What?
No.
I mean.
Wow.
Okay.
I might need to take a break.
Okay. But you see, it's important. But she is very pretty.
Yeah.
You need
like,
to know. You need to find out who that is. Yeah. You know, for me, I was waiting for you to say that you actually know her.
Wow.
You might never see her again.
I'll probably never see her again. Wow.
Okay.
Unless.
I know we're not breaking. We're not stopping. We're not stopping the show. Hold on.
We're talking about love here. This could be the next power couple here that you're interrupting.
Trust me.
This could be the new standard.
If it was meant to be,
we were literally talking about it, and she walked past us.
Yeah. And you know what they say? Yeah. Okay. Let's go on. So I was talking about. I was asking about who would you say, like, if you just look at mainstream, who are the main people who like are even setting like a blueprint for young kids? Because now it's hard. You don't see people dating for long durations or marriages lasting. Who are the people who are mainstream that have like that, are like role models, power couples in Kenya? Apart from Nameless and Wahoo, who else do you have in mind? I'll give you 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Yeah. Take all the time you need. Yeah. There's your answer. They're not there, bro.
There might be.
Can you imagine you have to, like, we're talking about the whole country, and it takes you that long to actually.
I feel like most politicians seem like they have their marriages together.
These guys who are sleeping around and 6 steps coming out every single day.
I mean,
I don't even want to. Let's not even mention names because I don't want to disappear in this country. Because for any name that you throw out there, I'd be like, what? Didn't you hear they were with so and so?
Yeah.
Oh man, come on. The politicians are the craziest, bro. They're the ones who are like sleeping around proper.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. But to be honest, for me personally, the reason why I'm saying I don't know is because I don't know anywhere in the world of a couple that is like I can look at and be like goals.
Bruh, you wouldn't want a wife like Beyonce?
I mean, I would want a wife like Beyonce, but would I want a marriage like Beyonce and Jay-Z's? I don't know, because I don't know what that marriage is really like. You know what I mean? From the outside looking in, it looks dope. Yeah. But we see what they want us to see again.
No, but I'm just saying, like, think about it. Like, your music career is like at its highest point. And wifey is also like doing the same dope shit as you.
Yeah.
You have kids. You have a team behind you, bruh.
I don't know. For me, that's the thing. Like, personally, and I'll be honest. This is my own personal belief. For me, I don't aspire for marriage. You know, I think it's cool. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I don't aspire to like have kids. I think it's nice.
You don't want to have kids?
I mean, it's not something that like I'm like thinking about and I hope will happen one day. If anything, what I really want to do is to adopt kids, right? Because I know that there's many kids around the world that don't have homes. I want to build a whole United Nations in my house. Yeah. Kids from everywhere in the world just in my home. Yeah. And like that for me is what I'm interested in. So I don't as an individual, and this is just for me, the idea of like couple goals. Because bro,
because you've grown up in the wrong country that has no role models and even, actually don't inspire you to even have or try.
It's not the country, it's the world, you know. It's the world. I mean, how did the world react when the world found out that Jay-Z had cheated on Beyonce? This time, when nobody knew, everyone was cool with it. Everyone was happy for them. Everyone was like, wow, these guys are amazing. Think about somebody like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart he's at the peak of his career, man, you know.
Even like the girlfriend, man, even like wifey is.
Yeah, you know. But it seems like it's a great relationship, right? And all relationships have issues here and there and back and forth.
But let's also not forget. Sorry to interrupt you. Let's also not forget, like, that when we're talking about Kevin Hart, we're not talking about because women are attracted to power, and as much as like let's say. Yes, success in Kenya is also like, but we're talking about like people who are worth like millions. Let's say women are throwing themselves at you in Kenya, right? Yes, they're beautiful, they're pretty and everything. But if women are throwing themselves at you in the level of Jay-Z or Kevin Hart, we're not just talking about like, Nairobi groupies, bro.
Yeah.
Talking about like these chicks who are like exotic women mixed with Cameroonian and Brazilian and like Chinese and what, like there's just like a whole fusion. And how many times will you say no? You know how many times these guys have to actually like say?
Yeah, and I mean, first of all, we have some bad bitches in Nairobi.
No, they are.
Let's just put that on the record.
Get it twisted, bro.
Let's put that on the record. There's some bad bitches in Nairobi.
They are.
But I think I get your point. And I think. For me, I think navigating those kind of relationships is about putting yourself, or rather not allowing yourself to be in a situation that could hurt your partner or to hurt your relationship.
True.
Right? That's in general, because 7 billion people on this earth, I guarantee you, the same way we've just seen that babe that's walked past here and I've fallen in love with her.
Yeah.
I'll meet another 50 million. Yeah,
true.
In my lifetime.
True.
In my lifetime, I will meet another 50 million.
True.
But whether I go forward and put myself in a situation to offend or to hurt my partner, that's the difference.
True.
You know.
True.
So if I jumped over this fence and went and ran to talk to her, and I already had a babe waiting for me at home, then I'm messing up. Yeah. You know.
True.
Yeah. So I think it's about putting yourself in the situations. Or not putting yourself in the situations Yeah, I think generally, I don't think there's couple goals. May I think Michelle and Obama have like, we don't know.
Michelle,
We
and
don't know.
those.
We don't know.
No, we don't know. But
Yeah.
man, look, Obama might be like one of the coolest people to come in this earth,
Yeah.
maybe, bro.
Yeah.
Humility and just the aura that he puts out. You'd want to be like, you know what? If there was another example, like just hold on. I have another Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Man, did you see like what the wife said the other day before the meme started rolling out?
About she wants guys to holler at her.
Bruh. Like, your husband is one of the best in history to like set foot in like the NBA.
Yeah.
Born again.
Yeah.
I don't even know. The list is endless, man.
Yeah.
Faithful.
Uh-huh.
But she said like, you know, she's still seeking, kind of, she wants attention from other like.
Yeah. And you know what? I think she just said something that most women are thinking a lot of the time. It's not wrong. She just said something that most people are thinking, and
that's where like average guys were like, yo, what about us? Okay, that's Steph. Yeah. How about somebody like,
you know, to her, I think they've been together even before he had blown up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So to him, this is just Stephen.
Just Steph.
It's just Bay, you know. Bay is now making a lot more money. Bay is now, you know, having a lot more shorties chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
But Bay is still Bay. He still goes home. He still poops when he comes home. In the morning, his breath still smells funny. You know, like, he's a regular guy just to her, you know.
It's that NBA fan is very different. That NBA fan is very different, man, from any other fan. But it's just tricky when it comes to couple goals. But like just as I was saying, like it's maybe like even for you to like have that mindset that you like, you know, you don't believe in like power couples and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the things that you've seen happening around. Even though you just mentioned like Jay-Z and Beyonce, you wouldn't know what happens behind those closed doors. So would you be wise? Do you think you'd be more happier dating somebody who's not in mainstream, somebody who's doing something completely different, or do you think your partner you'd get along well with a partner who's in your industry?
For me, I've never dated in the industry, but I understand why people do, because it's also like, it's complicated to date when you're in the limelight and somebody isn't in the limelight. Not because of like jealousy or whatever. It's just that there are some things that are more difficult to explain. And I'm not talking about like being caught in certain situations. I'm like, there are just certain realities that exist within the entertainment world that wouldn't be as easy for somebody who is not in that world to understand. You know, just the same way I can go to somebody's office and I don't understand the office dynamics, the way there's the one bitchy chick in the office, then there's that guy that hits on all the babes, then there's another guy who is like, you know how like guys in the office have like their own dynamics.
Man, I can't last in an office.
So like even within the entertainment scene, there's their own dynamics, you know, and everybody knows, or rather understands to a certain extent, how certain things work. And so I understand the appeal of dating somebody who is in the industry, because that conversation is almost easier to have, or even unnecessary to have, because it's clear.
When you're taking pictures with fans, hugging people.
Exactly.
There are those questions of like, hey,
who's that? Blah, 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 blah. Why are you doing that? Why, you know, it's like, it's completely clear. You know? So that makes sense. But at the same time, as I said, I'm a very private person, you know. So I've also had really great relationships with people who are not in the limelight. And I've enjoyed the privacy of those ones as well so much. So for me, there's not a particular thing that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like a particular thing. If I meet someone dope, we see what happens.
Well, good.
We see what happens.
Okay, easy. I think we've touched on like almost everything. And we've given people like content for like close to 2 hours. I think it's probably 2 hours. But there's one question that I ask like almost everyone before we just before we go to that, or should we? Oh no, let's go to that, and then I'll know how I'll do the outro.
Okay.
There's one question that I ask everybody, like just towards the end of the podcast. And what's the one thing that you think right now you're just pursuing as Kagwe Mungai, and like if you got it, to give you life, sense of direction, fulfillment, and maybe just like there's just that one thing that you think like you're waking or chasing like proper. Like if you got it today, you'd be like, you know what? Now I think my life has better meaning, or I can just tone it down a bit and just start enjoying life.
$1 billion. I'm not even joking.
What?
I'm not even joking. $1 billion. Yeah.
So money is your motivation.
No, you see, the money is the means.
$1 billion is a lot, bro.
$1 billion is a lot, and for me that's that's the thing, because I think with $1 billion I can, and even without and as I get on my way to $1 billion, there's going to be things that I'm going to learn, and lives that I'm going to impact, and I'll be screwed over in various ways as this continues to go along. I'm very aware of that.
Yeah.
But I feel like once I'm in that position, I will be in a better position to, one, continue to uplift my culture, my country, the continent as a whole, and also to just leave a more lasting impression on the world, right? To be able to just essentially have a better footprint on the world. That also comes with a lot of nice things. You know, I'm not out here looking for a range. I want a jet, bro.